From a small city-state on the Italian peninsula to a sprawling empire that shaped the course of Western civilization, the story of Rome is a tale of ambition, conquest, and eventual decline. How did a republic, founded on principles of law and civic duty, become the most powerful empire the world had ever seen? And how did it all come crashing down? Join us as we journey through 1,000 years of history to uncover the epic rise and fall of the Roman Empire. Our story begins in 753 BC, with the mythical founding of Rome by the twin brothers Romulus and Remus. For nearly 500 years, Rome was a republic, governed by elected senators and consuls. This was a period of relentless expansion. Through a series of brutal wars known as the Punic Wars, Rome defeated its great rival, Carthage, and gained control of the Mediterranean. Led by brilliant generals like Scipio Africanus, the highly disciplined Roman legions were an unstoppable force, conquering lands from Spain to Syria. This expansion brought immense wealth and resources back to Rome, but it also sowed the seeds of conflict. The gap between the ultra-rich and the poor widened, leading to social unrest and political instability. The Republic was starting to crack under the pressure of its own success. The turning point came with one of history's most famous figures, Julius Caesar. A brilliant military commander and a cunning politician, Caesar conquered Gaul, modern-day France, and became a hero to the people. But his ambition threatened the Senate. Fearing his power, they ordered him to disband his army. Caesar's response was to cross the Rubicon River, an act of open defiance that plunged the Republic into civil war. He emerged victorious, declaring himself dictator for life. This marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, or Roman peace, a golden age that lasted for 2 centuries. The empire was stable, prosperous, and reached its greatest territorial extent under Emperor Trajan, stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. Massive engineering projects like aqueducts, roads, and grand amphitheaters like the Colosseum were built across the empire. Roman law, language, and culture spread, creating a unified civilization that left a lasting legacy we still see today. But this peace couldn't last forever. By the 3rd century AD, the empire was in crisis. A combination of factors began to eat away at its foundations. The constant need to defend its vast borders drained the treasury, leading to crippling taxes and a devalued currency. Political instability became the norm, with a rapid succession of weak or corrupt emperors, many of whom were assassinated after only a few months or years in power. This period is known as the crisis of the 3rd century. The empire was also hit by devastating plagues that wiped out huge portions of the population, weakening the economy and the military. The once mighty legions were stretched thin, struggling to fend off increasing barbarian incursions along the Rhine and Danube frontiers. In a desperate attempt to manage the unwieldy empire, Emperor Diocletian made a radical decision in 285 AD. He split the empire into 2 halves, east and west, each ruled by its own emperor. While this provided some temporary stability, it highlighted the growing divide. The Eastern Empire, with its capital at Constantinople, was wealthier and more defensible. The Western Empire, with its capital in Rome, was more vulnerable and faced mounting pressure. Around the same time, a new religion, Christianity, was spreading like wildfire. After centuries of persecution, Emperor Constantine converted and made it the state religion. This was a monumental shift, fundamentally changing Roman culture and politics. The final act of Rome's fall was a slow and painful process, not a single event. In the 5th century, the Western Empire was battered by wave after wave of invasions. Groups like the Goths, Vandals, and Huns, pushed by migrations from Central Asia, crossed the frontiers. In 410 AD, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, did the unthinkable. They sacked the city of Rome. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City had fallen to a foreign enemy. The psychological blow was immense. The empire continued to crumble, losing territory and authority. Finally, in 476 AD, the last Western Roman emperor, a young boy ironically named Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic chieftain Odoacer. This date is traditionally marked as the end of the Western Roman Empire. So, what ultimately caused Rome's fall? Historians still debate the exact reasons. It wasn't one single thing, but a perfect storm of military overreach, political corruption, economic collapse, social decay, and relentless external pressures. It was a slow decline, a gradual unraveling over centuries. While the Western Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, would survive for another 1,000 years, preserving Roman law, art, and knowledge. The legacy of Rome is all around us in our languages, our legal systems, our architecture, and our ideas of government. The story of its rise and fall is more than just ancient history. It's a timeless lesson on the fragility of power and the inevitable cycle of empires. Thanks for joining us on this journey through Roman history. If you found this fascinating, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the stories that shaped our world. Let us know in the comments what other historical events you'd like us to cover. See you next time.